Hello, hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Holy Living Podcast, where we love boldly, teach humbly, and live holy. My name is Miranda.
And I'm Jada.
And we are super excited to be back with another episode with you guys this week. So we've had a busy week. We've had a great weekend.
Yes.
My sister Jada had her first whole launch party, and we had a great time. Tell us a little bit about that, Jada.
Oh my goodness. God is faithful. I'll say that to say the least. I was blessed with this opportunity to be able to launch a business for like 4 or 5 months, and this business owner wanted a launch party. And so that kind of birthed me gathering up about 15 other vendors. My niche is kind of like that startup businesses, people that like want to rebrand. And it just turned out to be an amazing event.
It was epic.
Like God just blew my expectations. I'm here branding, whole business consultant, by the way.
Contact her.
Yeah, contact me. No, it was good. And like I said, I couldn't have done it without every single person's help in the church. God just exceeded my expectations. Like the turnout was amazing. My vendors sold out. They acquired new customers and they gained exposure. And that's exactly what I was wanting out of this vendor event.
So contact her for all of your consulting needs. She is certified. She has a degree in marketing. So hit her up for all of your needs. But I have a quick question for you just to kind of break the ice.
Sure.
I want to know, what is the best piece of advice that you've ever been given?
Whoo, that's good. Ever
in all of your years?
So I would say it comes from my pastor.
Okay.
And the first thing that I just thought of is when I very first got saved, and a little bit about my testimony. I used to be gay, and God delivered me, and he delivered me to the taste out of my mouth. So guess what? I wasn't gay no more. And so that was in like 24 hours, like being gay all my life. And then once I repented and I asked God for forgiveness, he took that from me. And I felt as though to be a hypocrite if I was to tell other people, you don't have to live this life. So I asked the pastor about that. Like, how am I supposed to encourage other people, basically to live holy? Like, how am I? And I was just like this 24 hours ago. And he said, Jada, you are no longer the same person. He said, you're not that way. Like, your past starts over when you give your life to Christ. And that's even if it was yesterday.
Yeah.
So I guess that was the best piece of advice. It's like, it could be today, right? It could be at 3 o'clock. You could wake up this morning an alcoholic. But if you get down on your knees and ask God for forgiveness at 6 p.m., you are a new creature. And that's what I love about Jesus. Like, it doesn't have to be like a long process. Of course, sanctification is a process, but as far as like becoming a child of God, that was my best piece of advice that I got from my pastor, that your past starts over when you give your life to Christ. So.
I love that. I would say mine it was actually something that my daddy said at my wedding. So he was giving his, father of the bride speech.
Her wedding was beautiful, by the way.
Thank
oh my goodness.
You. But my daddy, there was not a dry eye in the building.
It was.
but he gave a long speech. And I really loved it because I really got to hear like what my daddy thought about me.
Yeah.
But in his speech, he said something, and he said, character cannot be developed in peace and quiet. Ooh. And I didn't know really what that was until there was no peace and quiet in my life.
Tell me about it.
Goodness. So character cannot be developed in peace and quiet, right? So you say you're this, right? Or you think you have all these characteristics about yourself. Like, of course, good. We want to give ourselves these good characteristics or whatever. Right. But when you're in the storm, right? That's when you're going to be tested. Like, you say you have all this faith, right?
Yeah.
When God is putting you through the test, so you can have a testimony, I need to see if that's true.
That's good.
So that's good. And then when you come out, you can see that God is building like who you are. You can see that he's building your character based off of, when things are getting rocky, right? When things are going crazy, it feels like all hell is breaking loose in your life. Are you standing on that solid foundation? Are you making sure that you're leaning on the Lord in all of your problems? And I realized that before I didn't necessarily, I had faith, right? But after going through that storm, I know my faith is strong because God has given it to me, and I know that I can lean on him in whatever.
That's good.
So when everything is going crazy, that's when your true character is like he's building you up.
Wow.
You know?
And it's crazy that you say that, because even talking about this event that I just put on, right? I gave a testimony in church, like the whole week, it was like the worst week of my life. Like I'm talking about hell breaking loose at home. I was having to go to court. I'm having to do big girl stuff that I haven't done in my entire life, talk to authorities, you know, stand before, you know, people in authority, and just feeling like I'm just being constantly attacked. And I'm like, why is this happening right now? I have this event coming up on Sunday. Everything's on me, but like my household is just like in disarray. Like, God, what the heck? And so God was just showing me, like, are you still going to do it anyway? So what?
Super good. Yes,
so what? Like, are you still
that.
going to push forward? Are you still going to put one foot in front of the other and do it anyway? But talking about like those trials and tribulations, Miranda, I want to kind of get personal with you and ask you a question. Because this is my sister, y'all. Yeah, I know, Miranda. Yes. I know that you have a desire for children, you and your husband, and that's something that you guys have been working towards. And tell me about that and how your character has developed in that waiting stage of where you guys are at.
Okay, so just a little backstory. My husband and I got married at 19. Which is super young. I'm 24 now, so that's super. Of course, you know, people would say that I'm still super young, which I know I am, but that's kind of crazy looking back. Like 19 years old, literally still a teenager. So, we didn't want children right away. Obviously, we were still young, and I really I love that God has like given me time to like just enjoy like my marriage and enjoy my husband. But after a while, we started to want children. You know,
right.
I just think it would just be so cool. I was asking Mama J, our first lady, the other day, looking at her son, her youngest son, and I could tell Samel. I could tell that like he looked, just the way he looked that day, it looked like he was trying to be like his daddy. And I just thought, and I asked, I was like, Mama J, I was like, is it so cute, like just seeing like your son like wanting to be like your husband? Because I feel like if I have like, that is so cute to me. If I have a little baby son and he's like trying to be like the man I think is the finest man in the world, like I already think you're just so cute because you're my baby son, you know what I'm saying? So I was just curious because I was like, oh my goodness, I really just cannot wait for that. And that's exactly what I've been doing. I have been waiting because you know, clearly God has not saw it to be our time for that yet. And of course, like, especially like taking pregnancy test after pregnancy test and like not getting the yes that we're praying for, it gets discouraging after all this time. But one thing that I just love so much about God is that, okay, so he gives us these requirements and he gives us these standards. There's a standard with being a child of God, right? He calls us to be holy. He says, be perfect as he's perfect, right? So because we're his children, he gives us the ability. But what I love is he takes things that were not perfect about us in our childhood and like the way we were brought up, and he will make them, right? Good. So my mama had me actually at 17 years old.
17?
17, yeah.
Wow.
My mama had me at 17 years old. I think my daddy was 19 or 20. I don't know. But my parents were very young when they had me. And they didn't have it all figured out. They weren't married. So, you know, I wasn't planned. Right. But, you know, I'm super duper grateful for the parents that I had because I hear like stories of like teen pregnancies gone bad and like having the kids having to be raised by the grandmothers and stuff like that. And fortunately for me, that wasn't my situation. My parents really did like, you know, mature up like as much as they could in that time. So I'm super duper grateful, and I just have so much like love and respect for my parents because I know that they literally did the best that they could with what they knew to do. Yeah. So I'm super duper blessed for my parents. But what I love is that like the stuff that I went through and had to go through, like God is showing me and teaching me that like my kids don't have to go through that. No. And he's literally, before I'm a mother, he's teaching me how to be a mother. That's good. Like, man. I'm not a mom, but I just feel like I have this, like, this motherly, I don't know how to explain it, but, and it's just like these past couple of, like, probably year, I just have this, like, I don't know, like, I just, like, love kids more. I love, like,
he's getting you prepared.
There's and I see them differently. Like, you're somebody's child. Like, you are somebody's, like, greatest possession. Like, when I'm even looking at kids, and just, like, so many, like, things I thought I knew, or ways that I thought I wanted to be as a parent, I actually learned like I actually don't want to be like that. But he's just teaching me so much in this season. And although I am waiting, you know, and I'm hoping for it to happen sooner rather than later, he's showing me like in his time, things will be made perfect. That's right. So that is, that's a little bit about what I'm going through right now, if that answers your question. No, I do have a topic for today.
What's the topic,
that I wanted to hit with you. Okay.
Just letting you know, she didn't tell me y'all before.
I didn't tell her on purpose.
What she about to come with.
Because
so this is authentic.
It is. And that's the reason why. I wanted it to be real. I wanted it to be raw. I wanted it to be what you really think. Have you heard of the soft girl era?
Definitely. How can you not be on Instagram?
Okay. So I was on Facebook today and I saw this post about... Let me read it to you.
Yeah, let me see the post.
I don't have my Facebook on here. Let me tell you what it said.
Okay.
Because I wrote it down. I put it down on here. Okay. It said, I walk in peace. I radiate peace. I give out peace. In my soft girl era.
How?
Right? Okay, so that's what...
That's my question.
So that's what I wanted to talk about today because I saw something about it. And I actually have like two different opinions on it.
Sure.
Of course, I had to like quote the post because people be getting on my nerves on my Facebook because, you know, people are just so new agey nowadays.
Yeah.
And new some agey stuff, I just scroll. I'm on my business. I'm like, I can have a difference in opinion. I don't have to say nothing. But I had to say something this time. Like, I didn't say nothing to the original, you know, poster, but I like reposted it and I had, you know, I put my 2 cents in, but just how you said how do you radiate peace? How do you give out peace? How are you peace? Like, now maybe that's true. Maybe this is a Christian, right? Maybe. Let's just give them the benefit of the doubt. And maybe they know who the Prince of Peace is, right?
But that's not how it's even said.
That's not how it's said. That's not how it's said.
You didn't say nothing about God.
Before we go into it, he is. Before we go into it, I actually wanted to look it up on Urban Dictionary just so if anybody doesn't know or have heard about the soft girl era, right? Here's a little thing from Urban Dictionary. It says, a phrase used by masculine women to state their transition to being a feminine woman. So it sounds good, right? It does. It sounds good.
Yeah.
And then one of the second posts, it says, one of the final phases of a thought or city girl cycle.
Hold on, Brand. I wasn't. Why'd you say it like that? A thought. I wasn't.
This is what it says. It says where she realizes she's nearing 30 plus, so she's probably almost 30, and she's trying to reform. I won't say that her whore phase.
Okay.
With dating with a purpose by being more feminine. So this is what Urban Dictionary says.
But you know what? And even, because I said that's good, even in reading the definition, nothing is really good if God isn't in it, right? Because a lot of things, like, they do seem like good intention, but my question still is how? Because how can you be good? How can you be feminine without God? Because even, like, because we just like to take God out of things because we know he has a standard, like he was saying before. Like, you know, as a woman, like, I'm a woman, okay, I understand, like, maybe some women, even without God, don't want to be looked at as dominant in this, but maybe that's just how they are. But they're like, okay, let me be soft girl, but they want to exclude God. It's still not good.
It's still not good
because you can't be good. You can't be who God calls you to be without involving him. And then it starts to get demonic. And then it's okay, so where are you getting this power from? Where are you getting this peace from? Where are you getting this sense of self from without your original creator?
Yeah, that's super good. What I kind of got from this, because I've been seeing it, like you said, you've been on social media. Sorry, you have a little hair right here. It's okay. It's pretty much from the post that I've seen, it's like cut off toxic people, cut off the people that like make you act out of character or make you like be hard, you know, like you're trying to be soft, you're trying to be I don't know, like flowy, like I don't know, you know, like cutesy
flowers,
exactly,
soft filters,
exactly. You're trying to like be like this, so pretty much cut off anybody who makes you act out of character. But my question would be, why is it getting you out of character?
Yeah, and you're not dealing with the root cause, you know, like the root cause of why you are like that. Because don't get me wrong, as Christians, yeah, we are to cut things off, right? We are as God calls us to do. But again, just moving and doing stuff because it's how you feel, especially as women. Like, don't get me wrong, like we are emotional beings, like we are super emotional, and so. Again, it kind of tickles our fancy to hear even things like this because it's easy. Like, okay, whatever, you out of my life, you know, I'm my soft girl era. And first of all, what's an era? An era is like what?
A time
period.
Right.
So it's like, so in 2024, like, is this not
is it over now?
Right. Yeah, so.
Yeah, so that was pretty much the topic that I have today. That was the soft girl era. Like, is it, first of all, is it biblical, right? I think it goes a lot into like the whole self-love movement type of thing too. Like, true. Put on a face mask and read a book and kick your feet back and watch your favorite shows and do all this stuff, right? But it's like, for me, I've touched on this even with my my podcast that I did with Chelsea. For me, a lot of the times when I want to do those things, and don't get me wrong, you take care of yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't be out here stank or like, you know, like, don't be out here looking crazy if you don't have, like, you know, take care of yourself. Like, most definitely, your body is a temple. Please take care of yourself. But a lot of the things that are pushed in like the whole like self-love, soft girl, are very, for me, in my opinion, are very like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, I'm trying to hide what I'm really going through. Like, the root. So instead of dealing with these things that are making me act masculine, right? Because that's what they said. Let's
listen. Yeah. Childhood trauma.
Okay.
Daddy issues.
Okay.
You know, self-esteem. Right? Because even like things like even the reason why like things like this like come about is because, and we recognize it too, like, women are hurt. Right. And we're not trying to seem like we are just we just perfect beings. And, you know, we never went through like things in our life. And we recognize that like people are really hurt and they are really empty and they are looking for something to make them feel better. They are looking for something to fulfill a lack that is in their life. So we're not desensitized to that. Right. But what we are trying to do is to encourage you to go to Jesus, right? Go to the one that will make you whole, right? Forever. You don't have to be in a certain era or go with a certain trend, but God is going to secure your feelings, your emotions. If you are a more masculine woman and you want to be feminine, go to God and say, God, what is a woman supposed to be? How am I supposed to be? Like,
learn from the creator.
Yeah, learn from the creator. So,
yeah. And that's actually super good because this is something that actually caught my interest a little bit when I first heard about it, because actually this is something that I am trying to do in my own walk, not necessarily this whole era, but like because of the hurt that has been taken on in my life, I have developed, because I always remember like everybody always called me like sweet and nice and like, you know, and that was true for me, like growing up to a certain time. And then I realized, just looking back, not at the time, but looking back, I realized like after so much like hurt, I developed like this like hard shell, like this hard. And I even think about like flowers. And it's funny because my husband, when I'm like aggressive, my husband, if it's one thing my husband don't like, it's an aggressive woman. He don't like an aggressive woman at all, like not at all. So because I do have those moments where like some hurt or is triggered or something happens. You like, what's up? Yeah, and and it gets like that. So he has to remind me. He says this to me all the time: be a flower, be a flower. What? He says this to me all the time: be a flower. And I was actually thinking today when I was thinking about this topic. I want to be a flower. And I tell him all the time, I'm like, but you know, roses, they have thorns for protection. So help me. Please don't like, don't trigger like that hurt. Like, don't like do stuff. You see what I'm saying? Like, cause like I want to be not in a soft girl era. I want to be the way God designed me to be. I want to be as feminine as possible. I want to be as girly and what a woman of God is supposed to be. You know, we're nurturing, we're caring, we're soft. So I don't want to be brought to that like masculine, like hard, like what's up. I don't want to be like that. You know what I'm saying? So like, first off, if I don't want to be like that, it has to be the root. And that's what I think this whole soft girl era is missing. Mm-hmm. It's like, so you don't have to think about all the stuff that hurt you. Go throw on a face mask or go watch a whole 3 seasons of Netflix in a night.
And drink a shot latte.
Or pour yourself up a glass of wine. It's like you're trying to mask what's really going on.
Yeah.
And God says, come to me and I can actually heal that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So that's what I want from God. Yes. I don't want to be in no soft girl era. No. I want
holy girl.
Forever. I want to be a holy girl forever.
Yeah, that's
so
good.
That's definitely like something that I'm working towards, because I do think, like, you know, of course, whenever you come to Christ during the sanctification process, he's stripping away like all these learned behaviors from the world.
Yeah.
And I think it's very popular, or I guess not right now. Right now it's popular to be a soft girl.
Yeah.
But in the past, it was very popular to, like, you know, city girl, don't mess with me. Like, I can have any man I want, or just being hard and mean and, like, you know, that type of thing.
Yeah.
So I do think that being feminine, or I know that being feminine is biblical.
It is.
But I don't think this whole soft girl era is biblical, just to make it plain.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly.
So I do have a scripture that I was actually reading Galatians today for a different reason. Me and my husband were talking about a different topic, but it went with what I was thinking about for tonight. It's Galatians 6 verses 7 and 8. It says, be not deceived, God is not mocked. For whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. For he that soweth to his flesh shall of the flesh reap corruption. But he that soweth to the Spirit shall of the Spirit reap life everlasting.
That's good.
So if you think that putting all this work into your flesh is going to save you or help you or make you better, you're mistaken. You have to sow into the Spirit, because what God will do is he will come, and if you ask him for healing, he will heal those places.
Yes.
Those things you're trying to cover up with this whole soft girl, whatever. Yeah. He will actually heal you, and he can give you, what does it say? A heart of flesh versus a heart of stone.
Yeah.
Not hard, but soft, right?
So, yeah, soft girl era.
Soft girl era.
No, but
right?
see, like, honestly and truly and honestly, like, because we're telling you these things of what not to do, but also things because some women want to know, okay, you know, have you, like, we did like the Holy 480 challenge,
right?
Because like some women they want to be, okay, so how do I be a holy girl? How do I be holy, right? And we also just want to encourage you to, you know, get up in the morning, right? Start your mornings off right and spend time with Jesus. Be honest with God, like, be honest with him and tell him your hurts. Like, a lot of times, and we know God knows what we're thinking, but it's different we express that. So it's important to be honest with God and tell him exactly how you're feeling and express all your hurts, your pains, your vulnerabilities. It's okay to be vulnerable with God. And even if you are in the soft girl era and even participated in it, and you know it's not going nowhere fast, and you know it's like,
it's
okay,
it
will end, and it looks cute, but you still gotta live, and you still gotta go home and really live this life. So that's our encouragement to you, is to seek God with all your heart. Find the church, find people that are connected to God, that really want to know God, you know, fellowship, get into your word, and just begin to seek God on your own. And he'll make you whole. He'll make you everything that you are looking for in this soft girl air or hot girl summer, whatever.
It's always gonna be something new.
Yeah, it's always
whatever
gonna be
you're
something
looking
new.
for, he'll supply.
Yeah, but if you want sustainability, right? If you want to be good and solid, we're here to encourage you today that only comes through Christ Jesus alone.
Yeah,
and that just kind of wraps up our podcast today. We want to thank you so much, for tuning in with us. If you stayed this long, we just appreciate that. Please give us a like, a thumbs up. Make sure you follow our podcast. Our Instagram is Holy Living Podcast. Yes. We're also on YouTube at Holy Living Podcast and Facebook at Holy Living Podcast. So thank you so much for tuning in. Until next time.
Bye.